Welcome to episode 16 of Rogue Mode 0 to 40 in Flight of Nova. We are really getting close to level 23. I've been complaining about these self-load missions. Base 8. It's only a 4 difficulty though. That's a 4 difficulty. No time limit on that. Kind of want to save those. Here's a time limit, but that's just way too far away. Biosign matrix, but there's a time limit on that, but it's a good difficulty, but I'm in the wrong ship. So let's see if there's a shuttle nearby. Less than 20 kilometers, base 97. Which base am I at? Alright, so I think that I'm sitting right next to the desired vessel. No. No, I am not. Oh, yeah, I was. Alright, and there's no good way to get fuel in this place. We just have to take the elevator. We'll accept this mission. It's got a nice 5 bars difficulty, so we should get a nice return on the investment. We're at a negative 2.1. Our destination is Gaba. So we're going to be needing to travel slightly north on our ascent. .755 kilometers altitude. The shuttle's the best one. The hypersonic vehicle. Uh-oh, that was the mark. degrees east and north. About right there. aggressively east at this point, or north at this point. But it is 2.1. This should give us level 23 easy. But we will have to perform a re-entry. And the last episode I was playing around with the most desirable distance to depart from GBA 758 with a negative 15 degrees FPA. And I think what I have decided is that from a 750 station, probably want to go about 4,400 kilometers. That's distance to target landing zone. Okay, and our inclination is extreme at negative 30, so we may be having to we might be having to zero out our inclination. Before we get to our apoapsis. So, yeah, for sure, we're already at negative 1.3. We're only at 200 kilometers. Negative 1.2. So our correction burn is going to be south. And we'll wait till we get to 0 latitude. We'll just burn our inclination right down to 0. So we're at 320 kilometers altitude. Latitude negative 0.6. Negative 0.5. We're still under 400 kilometers. Latitude negative 0.4. Negative 0.3. Negative 0.2. And we are down at 450 kilometers, so we still have 300 kilometers left to climb, which means we will definitely be hitting 0 before then. Alright, now I'm going to start burning in advance a little bit now. And now we're just going to put our inclination at 0, and that'll be close enough. Any further correcting that we need to worry about will happen during our circularization. Oh, see, and I should have went a little bit earlier than that even. So now I'm actually going to set my inclination to slightly positive. So that we do a bit of floating back along the center line. are we looking at a dock port out there? I don't think we are. We're gonna find out though. There's a dock port right there. Alright, so that's a pad. And I do not want to go to the pad first, because then I'm going to have to continue the mission, and I won't even get to use a dock port. So we're going to go over there to dock port 12. Do a dock port docking maneuver. And once we've docked and satisfied ourselves with our dock port docking maneuver, we will then continue on to the landing pad, which should be illegal in space. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to slow down enough. Oh. Okay, I think we're going to make it. See, there's no consistency to what's positive and negative on this yaw pitch roll. So looking at the number, you wish it would help you more, but it just doesn't, because every dock port would have a different positive and negative for that stuff. You really wish that there was just some arrows so that you didn't have to try to even remember positive and negative, which doesn't work unless you memorize every single individual dock port. Then it would work. But you wish there was just some little arrows, and that way you wouldn't have to like test it to see which direction you're gonna start rotating up or down, because you can't visually see if you need to go up or down. Like, the thing just doesn't have the depth perception it would take to work that way. missed. Sector 84. $6,277. We're moving away from it. Alright, I got a couple of options here. I can fly backwards. No good. 6,000 is already pretty far. Or I can find myself a dock port. How about 12? And do the time skip. The other reason why you got to look at the positive and negative is because really the amount of change you're talking about is so minuscule that you can't expect to be able to detect it visually anyways. Alright, so we actually, what we want to be is we want to be 4,400 kilometers away from Sector 84. So we can't wait for the re-entry window to naturally come because it's going to come at like 2,400. Which would be right if we were going to burn to a -10 FPA at 188 kilometers altitude and then burn to a -5 or 6 at about 100 kilometers altitude. We're gonna try to do that. We're gonna try to burn. That would take like 7,000 kilometers though. So we're gonna go for -15 FPA from about 4,400 kilometers out, and then burn that -15 to about a -6. Hopefully around 13 or 1,400 kilometers out is our target for that altitude. So that means we gotta watch this. And we're going to manually choose our disembarkation. And then we're going to have to slow it down once it starts to get real close. Six, 5. Oh, we want to go to 4,400. 8, 7, 6, 5. All right, there we are. All right, so we're gonna disembark from here, or embark. however you want to think of it. Okay, and we're going to find down. Where's down? Down is behind us. We're going to get out of here. And then we're going to go for a straight down at a negative 15 FPA. So there goes Gaba Station. We're at negative 10 FPA. There's a negative 15 FPA now. So now we're at a negative 15 FPA, so now we just need to course correct. To set ourselves up for the dog leg. And you can see that our negative 15 FPA is gradually decreasing on top of that. And so now this is their test number 2. For this plan. So the first test we tried to do that at about 4,000 kilometers out. This time we did it at 4,400. Our FPA is gradually ticking down, but that's what happened last time. We are already down, all the way down at almost 450 kilometers altitude by now, so. .400 kilometers. So normally at 188, you'd want to disembark at about 2,400 kilometers out from your target. So we're coming up on that right now. Looks like we're lining up to be nearing 300 kilometers altitude. Okay, so now's when you'd want to normally undock from the space station at 188 kilometers altitude and then go for a minus 10 FPA from there. And then at about 90 kilometers altitude, you want to be burned all the way back up to about a negative 5.5. That's my normal, conservative, low temperature re-entry. Low temperature, reasonably low fuel consumption. Gravity is steadily accelerating us. All right, we're coming down to pretty near 200 kilometers altitude. And wouldn't you know, we're almost at a negative 10 FPA naturally. Negative 11 FPA, 150 kilometers altitude, 1500 kilometers out. So I think we are going to be lining up pretty good. We might even need to go more like 4,500 kilometers out for that disembarkation. So I'm going to want to start burning at about... We're a little ways... Oh, we're coming up perfectly. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and start burning now. And I'm going to go for a regular negative 5.5. Oh, I went a little too far on that. Kind of coming in fairly shallow, and we have quite a bit of velocity. But actually, maybe that quite a bit of velocity and that shallow thing will work together, because we are going a little faster than normal at this altitude. So we probably want to take a little bit shallower of a descent. We're still hoping to get around to about 53 kilometers altitude by the time we zero our FPA. Heating up pretty quick for this. But actually, we are still ahead. We actually don't want to be here, because we're going 7,000 meters per second, 7,600 meters per second at 700 kilometers distance. That is not good. So we need to really go for an aggressive deceleration profile here, and just basically be pulling up the whole way. Otherwise, we'll never slow down enough. And we're actually quite high, so our friction is less. So I don't actually want to be power turning here. I want the power turn to be when I make a mistake, I can power turn to overcome it. I don't want the power turn to be a part of my conservative approach to reentry. Because if the power turn is part of my conservative approach to reentry, then when I overshoot, there's just nothing I can do except skip out and then burn hard as I can. But full throttle is still only about as good on, you know, it might not even be as good as the most efficient brake down at 50 kilometers altitude. So I think you actually slow down faster being down at 50 kilometers altitude and running this full tilt braking in the air than if you were to be up out of the atmosphere at a full flip and burn. So we might need to go 4,600 kilometers for a GABA station reentry, because I'm still all the way up at 4,500 meters per second, and I'm going to be overshooting. Now's when I want to be at 2,400, not 4,300. So now's when we want to let it heat up a little bit, so that we slow down a little bit faster. And we're going to have to fly back. Now, we could go for a more aggressive descent of like negative 20 FPA. But I kind of don't like that either. Looks like we're gonna go to a sky barge at this from this angle. Oh, that thing's flying west. Flying east, I mean, and I'm flying west.
CF2, Sky Barge to Tori. We've got eyes on you.
This doesn't get us to level 24, I don't know what will. Silver DZ, Cobalt, base 14, all the way out to Galdar. We have an hour, 45 minutes. Where's Galdar? On the other side of the planet. Where is the nearest freighter? Less than 20 kilometers. We'll mark it. We'll go grab that freighter and then we'll accept the mission after that. Anybody see that? Mark? Missed a step. There's my freighter. Falcon. Hopefully we can make this. How long for the rendezvous? 1 hour 33 for the rendezvous. Our mission expires in 1 hour 41. That is going to be cutting it really close. That's not going to work. That's a 25-minute flight. We're not going to make it in 9 minutes. Okay. We can make it if we have more than 9 minutes. But we need we need to fly out to it in advance. We can't do this 50-degree climb. It's not gonna work. So if we wait, we've got lots of fuel, lots of performance. All right. We're gonna go west. This is the only hope we have. Oh, what? Oh man, I did that wrong. I thought I was supposed to go to the dang GLR station. And I don't. I just gotta go pick up this. Well, we'll make this 900 kilometers in 20 minutes. Well, my planning wasn't very good. And we'll miss Galdar. Actually, it's impossible to miss Galdar because the thing moves so slowly. You have this huge launch window that'll work all about the same. Well, that was a close one, but as long as we catch the same launch window, then we didn't lose any time. We just time skipped a little bit of a different time than usual. But the total elapsed mission time for the player should be about the same. I wonder if this Cobalt's at a base or on a sky cargo. Sky cargo it is.
Freighter TL01, base 82 ground. Welcome to our airspace. TL01 craft. Skybarge Vulcan, welcome. We have you on screen.
Alright. We made the pickup window. Galdar, however. We're gonna fly to a land base for that re-entry window. For the launch window, excuse me. There's no need to re-enter.
Freighter TL01.
Looks like an elevator-only base.
We have you on approach.
I don't see any pads that aren't elevators. Oh, that might be one right there. Alright, so it looks like we got one pad that's not an elevator. Oh, we got two. Oh, which one are we gonna use? Oh, let's use this one. 82 launch site. Alright, so we are at lat point 1, but we are going way up to Galdar. So we do not care. It's 3,000 kilometers. It's entirely too far to worry about it. Galdar departs in 4 minutes. Montaigne Station. There's Galdar. Almost 4,000 kilometers away. We're blasting. There's Gaba Station. Gonna be doing a not too distant flyby from Montaigne Station. Let's see if we can catch a visual on Montana Station. I think I see it. I mean, I see the blinking, but I think I see the actual station. It's very dark though. Yep, definitely saw it once it's against the light. Alright, let's check our 50. We do indeed need to readjust for our 50. Our apoapsis is now at 2,000. We just need another 1,000 on that burn. Here's Galdar. Alright, our apoapsis is nearly 3,000 and kill the burn. Alright, now we check our inclination and oh my goodness, we need to change our inclination. We need to go north. We'll go to -1. Just go on the float. That'll take a long time, but time is on our side. Now we take our time. So you could actually, with 64% of your fuel left, you could just aim at Galdar and be like, I am not waiting for this, and then just burn. And as long as you had about 30-40% of your fuel left, you probably would make it. I mean, you might not want to burn under 50 when you're just winging it like that. Yeah, it's still at -0.5, but we got a long ways to climb, so. We'll be okay. I wonder where them other planets are. Like, if I could see them. I think you need to look towards the sun. And they're equatorial of the sun. And so to figure out your equatorial of the sun, obviously, the planet is probably equatorial with the sun. So the same direction that we're going, that's the direction that you would see the planet. And I'm to understand you can see it from here. I don't know what it would look like compared to like how I would tell it apart from the backdrop. I mean, it should be a bright color, just like this one. We're at 1300 altitude. If these planets were rotating around the sun, and one of them were closer to the sun, then you might eventually see it transit the sun, which could be cool. So it could be one of them little clusters right there under the engine. One of those could be it. (1,500 kilometers altitude). Where's Galdar? (1,700, almost 1,800 kilometers altitude). Yeah, I don't think that there's any way that I would be able to tell an object that far away from any of the other dots in the background. I just don't have the resolution for that. But I guess if you fly at the sun at escape velocity, then you'll pick it out because it'll move across the sky. Whereas the rest of the stars in the sky will not move across the sky. Almost at 2,000 kilometers altitude. See, if it was against a lighter colored backdrop like that, then maybe there would be a better chance of us seeing it. Escape velocity, though, is like 14,000 kilometers. 14,000 meters per second. 14 kilometers per second. Alright, let me see here. Am I lined up for circularization? I am not. Also, I don't think I'm going to make my desired latitude at this rate. So I'm going to jack that up. Alright, so now we have 900 kilometers to climb before we need to be at 0 eccentricity. So hopefully that will do the trick. We'll check back in a minute. So perhaps if you time skip from Galdar while looking at where the planet is, maybe the distance that Galdar travels across the planet sky during a time skip would be enough for you to see one of the dots track across the backdrop of the other dots. So maybe we'll try to do that when we get out to Galdar. So it should only take a second. Yeah, we're getting a lot closer to 0 edges, but it's true that we're only going to be going about halfway across the planet's surface. But I mean, if you see the dot track at all, then it can be part of the backdrop, because the backdrop is just a picture of dots. But the star is an object in the game. Our sun is an object in the game. 2,400 kilometers. And the planets are also here now already, but they are also objects in the game. So we're talking about some pretty significant distances. I mean, I'm not sure that it would work out that way. I don't know if that's a far enough distance to track across the sky for us to visually perceive one of the dots moving. 2,500 kilometers. We're at negative 0.1. All right, I'm gonna reduce our inclination a little bit from here. From there, we're going to be fine. I mean, you would never notice the thing tracking across the sky without the time skip. I mean, you just have to be steering for so long, and how would you even know where to watch? .600 and Galdar is within 800 kilometers. But for now, we'll just worry about docking to Galdar, delivering the cargo, and then we'll try to get a nice viewing angle of the sun, and then we're going to time skip at 50 and see if we can see any dots that are tracking across the background. And then that would be one of the planets. There's 2 planets. so we could theoretically see both of them. Alright, we're still at negative 0.1 lap, but I think that's nothing to worry about. Coming up on that 400 kilometers, switch to relative velocity. (2,800 kilometers altitude approaching, so we'll be well within, perfectly acceptable. I think we're gonna want to burn about 200. We're still pretty low. I think we want to burn already. And we'll just do it in baby steps. We'll burn until we're starting to catch up to that 6,500 velocity. And then we'll just fly out to Galdar. Alright, so from here, I think we just want to fly at Galdar. Because we are a little bit off on our trajectory. The controls work differently between the top view and the bottom view. Actually, we're just gonna go.
It's all good. We have you on approach.
We're just gonna go for the approach. We already are gonna speed wobble. Whoa, we speed wobbled that thing hard. That's because I'm in the freighter. I'm not thinking about the extra weight. Goldar. There she is, drifting across the sky. No available dock ports here. Nothing to do but dock to the station.
TL01, Station Goldar. You are clear to dock.
Alright, so the problem with time skipping in Goldar is there's a bunch of junk floating around the space station. So we're gonna have to figure out an angle, and then we're gonna have to see through that junk. Okay. Where's the sun? I don't think we can use this camera. Alright, so here we are. So, I'm not 100% sure. Oh, I see see, that's probably junk. I see a black dot there, but it's probably space junk right around the station in near space. So we're gonna try to time skip and look for a dot. Oh my goodness. That moves. Very slowly. I mean, I don't think that we're gonna be moving. Yeah, we're not gonna move far enough. We would still need instrumentation. So that'll be it for episode 16, I think, of Rogue Mode 0 to 40 and Flight of Nova. Thank you for watching.